Subnautica takes place on an alien planet in the far future. How far in the future? The late 22nd century. So, unfortunately, you're dead. Sorry about that, but hey, look, fish. You crash landed on this alien planet on a ship named the Aurora. You were Riley Robinson. You were the non-essential systems maintenance chief for the Aurora on its mission to build a phase gate for future human colonization of this area of space. This multi-trillion credit investment by the Aletho Corporation literally just went down in flames, but luckily the watery world of 4546b was there to extinguish those fires, because you clearly didn't do your job of maintaining those non-essential systems very well. You make your escape from the burning capital ship by boarding Lifepod 5, hurtling down to the planet's surface at breakneck speed. Ooch, a little concussion, but I'm sure a bit of fresh air will help. Being the occupier of Lifepod 5, you're the luckiest man on the planet, or the unluckiest, as every other lifepod is either destroyed or its inhabitants are otherwise engaged with the local wildlife, meaning you're the only one still alive who now has to endure this hellscape. While bobbing around in the water and discovering new delicacies for humanity, you start to notice that some of these creatures look rather strange, and it's not just because of the large glowing eyes. Some of these creatures seem to have strange green spots. Why is that? Ah well, I'm sure that won't be a problem. In fact, the green ones seem to have extra flavour. After around a week of living it up in your new aquatic home, racking up quite the bill I might add, as your employer claims all of the planet's resources for themselves, a message comes in over the radio. A rescue ship named the Sunbeam is en route to rescue you. All you have to do is meet them at the rendezvous point in a few days. On the day of pickup, you head to the extraction point. It's land. You haven't seen that in a while, but there's also something else here. A big alien thing. Oh well, you've got more important things to worry about. Wait, it's a gun? A giant, multi-story alien gun. Well, that's just great. This is the quarantine enforcement platform, and it's what took down the Aurora. I guess you're off the hook for your maintenance failures. Trying to disable the gun, you have the world's nastiest injection, and that's not even the worst part. It says it can't be disabled by someone that's infected. What does it mean, infected? After all this swimming, you're probably in the best shape you've ever been. Maybe those green spotted creatures have something to do with it. Maybe you shouldn't eat any more of those. Well, if rescue is out of the question, maybe it's time to head into the Aurora to see what you can salvage.
Emergency.
Maybe that's best avoided for a little while. The ship's reactor just detonated, and while all that radiation could help you sprout some fins for moving faster, it's probably not a good idea. Heading further down below the waves, you find traces that you might not be the first human to arrive on this planet. It turns out a ship had gone missing over this area before, the Degasi, and the Aurora had a secret mission to discover its fate. The crash had 3 survivors, a father and son duo, Paul and Bart Torgal, and Marguerite Mida, who was employed to protect their ship from pirates. They survived for some time, building bases and heading deeper and deeper below the waves, before their final base was destroyed by a Reaper Leviathan. Paul suffocated after following a light after the base's destruction, with Marguerite stabbing and clinging onto the Reaper that had caused the attack, determined to kill the beast or die trying. Bart made it back to the surface, but later succumbed to a strange infection. Hopefully that's not what you've got. Deep down in the planet's core, you discover the disease research facility. This place has seen better days, and so have you, as it's not just the fish that are green anymore. This disease is called Kara, and was first discovered by the aliens who built this facility and the gun, known as the Architects. Somewhere in space, the Architects found this disease, and it wiped out over 143 billion members of their species. The aliens quarantined their homeworlds and set up remote research facilities to study the disease in hope of finding a cure. 4546b was one of these planets, but something went wrong. The Architects studied all of the planet's life to try and find a solution, and a creature known as a Sea Emperor was their best lead. The Sea Emperors produce enzyme 42, something that could cure the infection. The Architects captured a Sea Emperor and its eggs, designing them a specially made aquarium within the primary containment facility. But either from age, illness, or some unknown reason, the Sea Emperor they captured only produced an unstable version of enzyme 42 that couldn't permanently cure the disease, leading the aliens to focus on its eggs. Try as they might, they couldn't get them to hatch, and in desperation, they turned to a similar creature to try and find a solution. Sea dragons are very similar to Sea Emperors, although they are a lot more aggressive. The Architects learned this when they tried to take a mother sea dragon's eggs to the disease research facility. Enraged, the mother headbutted the facility, dying in the process but also destroying the research station, causing Kara to escape into the planet's ecosystem, killing off almost all life on the planet. Even the mighty Sea Emperors died out due to a lack of food. The Architects studying the disease broke and fled, some disposing of their bodies and uploading them into the digital world to survive the catastrophe, while others were not so lucky. Only the captured Sea Emperor and her eggs remained as a source of enzyme 42, and therefore a cure. Making your way to the facility, you meet the Sea Emperor, who has the ability to speak to you telepathically. That or you're really tripping. The last Sea Emperor sustains all life in this part of the planet, using her telepathic abilities to train small fish known as peepers to carry her unstable enzyme 42 around the seas. It isn't a permanent cure, but it's kept the world going for the last 1,000 years. The Sea Emperor tells you that natural ingredients found across the world are needed to hatch her eggs, and after collecting them, her young are finally born, who produce pure enzyme 42, saving yourself and the planet in the process. The mother Sea Emperor then finally succumbs to old age, her mission complete. So donning a radiation suit, you head inside the Aurora, fix the damaged engine which is causing the radiation, and obtain the plans for an escape rocket sent by a message from Altera. After constructing the rocket, you blast off, leaving 4546b behind.
Permission to land will be granted once you have settled your outstanding balance of 1 trillion credits.
Well, I did say you racked up quite the bill, and special thanks to my patrons, Mathijs, Graham DeLoye, Baron Windy, Immortal, and Cubmix for making this video possible.